Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Friday, December 6th, and you are listening and watching the Daily AI Show live. With me today is Andy, and I am Beth. And our show today is talking about what's happened in AI in terms of our shows for the last 3 weeks. So welcome to the bi-weekly wrap-up or bi-weekly recap that actually covers 3 weeks instead of two, because last week was the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is not a focus time for the U.S. in paying attention. So we did a celebration of 2 years of ChatGPT instead of this. Instead of our bi-weekly recap. And we are going to welcome Carl to the show as well. Here you go, Carl. Thanks.
Hello.
Welcome. And okay, so just to orient us for these 3 weeks, we focus on, is AI slowing down? That was Monday, November 18th. Because everybody was saying, like, are there are we not making the same big leaps as before? I suspect we'll talk about what got dropped yesterday and how that may affect the answer to that question. Tuesday, November 19th, we talked about the hidden psychology of what makes AI tools go viral beyond the tech hype. Wednesday, as always, news. November 21st, Thursday, unlocking the secrets to writing great AI prompts. If you were part of that comedy of errors, congratulate yourself. And yeah, you all should get special stickers for that. Friday, November 22nd was From Selfie to Cinema, Runways Act 1. And I'm just going to keep going on this list unless somebody needs me to stop. No. Okay.
No.
Monday, November 25th, Growing AI, what people get wrong and why it matters. That was the show about the fact that AI is less programmed and more given a structure and let to grow in the shape or toward the goals of that structure. Tuesday, November 26th, Redefining Productivity, Exploring the AI-driven Future of Work. Carl was actually not on that show. And Carl, I would love to know what you were thinking about that. Wednesday was another news roundup. Thursday was Unleashing Your Hidden Potential, AI-powered professional development strategies. That was about using prompts to give yourself some new experiences, some lift, improve some skills that you would like to see improved in a way that you think will position yourself better for what's coming. Friday, ChatGPT, the 2 years of ChatGPT, ChatGPT's cultural revolution, what happened, and holy crap, has it only been 2 years? And has it been 2 years already, right? Okay, now we have, now these are written backwards for me. So this Monday, AI mimicry, if machines mirror us, what makes us human? Tuesday, AI factories, Jensen Huang's vision for AI 24/7 AI production. Wednesday, again, news roundup. I know Andy's got something for that. And Thursday, mastering the model context protocol, MCP, a game changer for AI applications. All right. Wow. So it's sort of like pick a card, any card. Where would either of you like to start?
You're muted, Carl, so I'm going to get going.
Okay.
I want to jump into the MCP protocol and the model context protocol and how that basically creates what amounts to a very simplified operating system for AIs in the world of data. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk about that are at this operating system level, like major changes to the architecture of how we work with AI. Right now, we're working with AI primarily through either APIs accessing a model, or we're talking to them through an application interface like ChatGPT. So we have access to them, but in the world of fully connected systems to AIs, there has to be better protocols like MCP. that are easy to implement. And there also has to be what amounts to like an operating system. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are in the news actually about that didn't really rise to anybody's major attention. And the first one I want to talk about is a new company that was formed by the people who were from Google and Stripe, who are creating an AI agent operating system for the web. So they were the teams behind the Android operating system that made it possible for multiple apps to work through telephones, multiple phones, and to talk to each other on those phones. So there's this fluid integration that's possible if you're using the Android operating system. And similarly with iOS, right? iOS and its companions on the desktop, Mac OS, and so on. These are the operating systems that allow various applications to be communicative with each other and all within an integrated standard in effect. So they've formed these former Google and Stripe executives who are behind the Android operating system and later worked at Meta. They raised $56 million for AI agent operating system on the web. So instead of on a phone, this is going to be an operating system that allows the interaction of agents across multiple types of servers and applications that are all cloud-based in effect. So what about the bona fides of this group, right? The just some of the people, the co-founders, as I mentioned, the startup's chief product officer is a guy named Hugo Barra. He was previously the VP of product management for Android, and also a VP of Oculus at Meta. So these are really high level product and engineering executives. Chief Technology Officer, CTO, Ficus Kirkpatrick, formerly worked on Android as an early engineer and as Vice President of Augmented and Virtual Reality at Meta. So they're kind of following each other. But as a team, the venture capitalists who backed them are extraordinary, including because of the size of this round, Google invested in them, but not through their Google Ventures arm, which does seed level investing in new startups that are relevant to what they see as the vision or the future of where technology is moving, but through their Capital G, which is their sort of growth model investment firm that provides very large sums of money to companies that they really are placing big bets on. One of the partners at Capital G said, this is a once in a generation opportunity that this team is attacking. So pretty amazing. I want to follow this. The company is called /dev/agents. And it's a very highfalutin technology investment that's happening here. And we should be tracking that going forward. There's more information about that if you want to check it out. /dev/agents. By the way, just some of the people behind the investment, including Google's Capital G, Index Ventures, OpenAI co-founder Andre Karpathy, Scale AI's Chief Executive Officer Alexander Wang, Palo Alto Network CEO Nikesh Arora, and others. So this is a big, big play in Silicon Valley.
Wow. Okay. So /dev/agents, is that the punctuation slash?
Yeah. That way. Not
Wow.
backslash. That's a forward slash.
We're looking forward. We're looking forward with
Yeah.
our slash, with our dev, and with our agents. Absolutely. Carl, do you have one of these things you want to jump back to or jump forward to?
Actually, just one that I think obviously I kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that happened yesterday, but I don't think we ever talked about what Amazon it has announced their state-of-the-art foundation models, which is the Nova Micro, Nova Lite, Nova Pro, and Nova Premier, including the Nova Canvas for image generation and Nova Real. So obviously this is the play for their cloud users.
Hmm.
I'm not sure they're gonna play it for like just trying to compete with the major AI labs in terms of that aspect, because they'll probably still a couple I don't know if it generations or models behind a little bit, in terms of just public awareness. But I think it's the play to their cloud users. So it'd be interesting. I think the topic that was kind of confusing to me, but maybe it's they're hedging their bets. So they invested quite a lot in Anthropic, yet they're
Right.
investing a lot in their own stuff. So what does that mean? I think they're trying to do best of both worlds. If Anthropic takes off, fantastic. They've got they've got in Amazon Bedrock, you have Anthropic there, but you also have their large language models available for use for enterprise and cloud customers too. So I think I think they're trying to do both. Although that's I think 8 billion here, however much it costs to train these models, and then just like every other AI lab, they'll have to keep up with everybody else, right? So I'm not sure who is going to be using their image generation. State of the art, I can put that term with about anything but video generation. So I don't know if anyone's tested any of these things. I think there was an announcement, but I don't know if it's actually available. And then they have their Nova Premier, which is their highest level with complex reasoning, so on and so forth. Q1 2025. I don't know what that means.
Right.
We could be on like O2, O3 by then. So that really, I don't know how that works. I feel like they're kind of on the Apple timeline. With
Right.
but I think it was just forced they have to. And related to this is I saw a little news clip that Jeff Bezos is really fully back at Amazon,
Yeah.
and that's really just focused on AI. So you he's he was kind of, I think we all saw him on his yacht, hanging out with his girlfriend, like just doing his thing. But now I think it's like, wait a minute, got to take advantage of the opportunity now. So I think he's fully back at Amazon, doing this.
And interesting that you mentioned Apple because there was some announcement that they're maybe Apple is using some of the chips that Amazon bought a chip company. It's a different name of chips. Tensori, ten something. I will see if I could find that. Um, and Apple came out and said that they're using some of those. They didn't say exclusively. But interesting that those two giant companies that are also the further back in the race uh, are maybe shoring each other up in their positions further back in the race. Like now it's intentional. It's all right. We're good. We're gonna still win the race or at least place.
Yeah, I
Um,
think you're referring to Tranium chip
I
line
am
from
referring to
Amazon.
Tranium. Yeah. Thank you.
I think one thing that he did say that Rohit Prasad, the SVP of Amazon's artificial general intelligence. Okay, that's a very interesting title. Cool. Um, but he said that the Nova models, while also delivering meaningful progress on latency, cost effectiveness, customization information, and agentic capabilities. I don't know if they just threw that last line in because everybody's saying agentic. So, but if they said that, I would imagine that's another player working on agents. And I want to kind of connect that to Sam Altman and I think Sundar Pichai too. They were all on the deals. So New York Times, like I don't know, I don't know what it is, but they were all a bunch of clips of them were all
Yeah.
posted on X about where they thought things were are. And in terms of AGI, Sam says that it'll come and go, but not very many people will know. Like it won't impact anything. I do believe him just because of the work that we do. And then if you translate it to outside the AI bubble, even though the technology is all here, the adoption of that and
Right.
and to be able to put it into business is taking a long. So I think I don't know what all you think today. If AGI was I don't know, let's say Claude dropped something and it's AGI, and
Mm-hmm.
then Mistral dropped super intelligence. Let's just say that everyone, Twitter's gonna blow up or X gonna blow up. I still think outside of that bubble, no one will really know what to do with it.
Right.
Like the technology could be here, we're all excited, and it could be running our computers, but to get businesses to actually understand how to use it, and I think what we're thinking is you've really got to, it's a complete business change in your operations. Like it's fundamentally changing how you operate, which I don't think many businesses are ready or
Right.
capable of even making that change.
So if it doesn't fundamentally change how you operate, you're not actually engaging with it in a way that is like what it's designed to do, right? Like you're
Yes.
engaging it in a way that writes emails for you,
Yes.
right?
Just faster. Or
Right,
more emails. I was like, oh, I can write, instead of writing 10 emails, I can write 30 emails. I can get my agent to write 30 emails. Like, well, that's not really how you're supposed to use this thing, but
right.
and I think we're still gonna look at it from the lens. I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, Andy. I think a lot of the legacy or current companies, I'm not sure they can really pivot if something like AGI or ASI comes in, because their fundamental how they were built is on the tra- older way of creating a business. Employees, there's this, there's payroll, there's, so the fundamental changes, people who are starting new companies that are natively building with this in mind, that's where the change is, not necessarily the enterprise level where they've already built their companies that way.
Mhm. Yeah, well, my thinking on that is that AI itself is enabling much smaller teams and much faster development cycles to basically surmount what major infrastructural advantages the larger corporations have. In fact, that you might argue that the inertia that the human organizations that have built up to tens of thousands of people in some of these companies is actually an obstacle to innovation. And there are plenty of commentators in the world of business management who have made that point, that it's really out of the blue in some corner of the world, typically Silicon Valley, where a group of people get together and they can build something. Now AI just dramatically amplifies the capacity of a very small team to do that. And there are lots of initiatives that are underway that will make it so that you don't even have to have the huge sums of money that the major initial players in the world of AI had to in order to train the frontier models. And I have a follow-up on that. There's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is a small little open source research company in New York City called New Research, NOUS, like the term in French for us. So New Research was just formed in 2023. They've already gained significant recognition as a center of excellence in AI because of their state-of-the-art language models in the Hermes line. So if you look on the leaderboards, Hermes is always one of the open source models that is performing right near the top of those charts. So what they've done, first, let me just mention that it's a small company. You know how many billions of dollars Elon Musk, he just raised another, $6 billion for XAI. And OpenAI is funded with billions and billions of dollars. Well, Little New Research has raised a total of $5.2 million. And what they're doing now, and this is disruptive in my view, is they're proving that it's possible to train frontier class LLMs without superclusters and the billions of dollars of investment in training that is required. They're doing it on a model of distributed computing on the web, just like SETI. Do you remember SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence? In order to do the computational interpretation of all the information that was coming from radio telescopes for SETI, this goes back decades, they allowed people out there who have connected computers on the web to contribute idle time on their processors to a distributed computing model that would then do the calculations necessary to do that. Well, instead of building superclusters, new research has completed training of a frontier level model at the 70 billion scale, not the trillion parameter scale, but they've completed that within a couple of months. So turn it on. And what this means is it's open source. You could train your own model without being one of the big players.
Mm-hmm.
From scratch, right? I mean, literally start from scratch and train an entire model using a bunch of other cooperative people's computers. And you can imagine now all the gamers in the world gang up because they have NVIDIA GPUs, and they deliver themselves up in this distributed model to do training. So this is relevant to your point, Karl, because it's no longer going to be necessary for you to be one of the major players in order to make incredible innovative advances in AI.
I think that if anyone here or watching or listening is really interested, go watch the Y Combinator show where they talk about vertical AI agents. They had a really good conversation about when SaaS came out, and I think over the last 10 years, 15 years, I think 40% of VC funding or Y Combinator, YC and VC fund, like 40%, I think that's a stat, were all SaaS companies, right? They were all software. So the thought was, when software came out, it replaced anything that was local, any kind of local type on your computer, or any kind of action, whatever the vertical was, there was a SaaS model to replace that, and new SaaS models. The thinking is, one argument was AI agents, AI in general, is the new SaaS model, which every single SaaS that is out there can be theoretically replaced by a vertical AI agent model. So and while some of those legacy SaaS businesses will try to do that, it's hard to do that because your fundamental business has to change with employees, with how your business is set up. It's very difficult to make that change, especially in a enterprise level or even medium-sized level. It's very tough. So when new companies come out, when you only need, instead of you taking VC money to have like hundreds of like 30, 40, $50 million, and the first thing is hiring, marketing, hiring, sales, all that. Do you need all that now when you have, like, say 10 people can do the job of 30, 40? Those new businesses will be leveraging AI versus some of the legacy companies that they're going to try to, or we're seeing all these companies bolting AI into their systems, but it's not really native. So it's two very different business models that are going to come out of it, which is, I think that's the call where the impact won't be seen until those new businesses actually start overtaking some of the legacy ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that point actually reminds me of a conversation we had on this show about service as a software rather than software as a service. So software as a service is a sort of a server out there on the web that you can buy a subscription to that does this function in your company. And service as a software, it kind of flips that on its head so that one person with a set of tools can provide a full replacement for that entire function inside the company using AI agents and AI capabilities. And they just kind of, it's like offshoring all the function of that department. Let's take customer service as a principal example that's being, in effect, the organization functional unit, which was doing customer service before, is no longer necessary. It's been disintermediated by AI service agents that are running as a service to replace the function in the company. So yeah, there's a lot of changes that way. And let me weave my way over to a system that I wanted to talk about called Augment Code. It's a new startup that's backed by Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, former chairman of Google. You remember him? And they raised $270 million so far. So this is a very well-funded company, Augment Code. And it's a developer AI that thinks in enterprise systems, not in code. So it's been trained to understand, to comprehend all of the integrations across multiple systems in an enterprise and do full examination. And we talked about this on a show as well. Like, oh, I'm waiting for the day when instead of AI, being able to write a little snippet of code over here or to write a complete application, I want to be able to come in, look at the entire system stack for the enterprise and rewrite the whole thing and stop all my subscriptions to external parties, right?
Right.
So I'm going to run everything on my own code now that was built by an AI. And that's what this company seems to be on track to do. So just a few points about it. Augment is the first developer AI platform that deeply understands entire software systems, the components, the APIs, and more. It learns your entire code base and related development ecosystem. So all docs, all dependencies, all integrated systems that are connected to that, it hoovers that all up and understands it all. Now, one of the things that makes this possible is Augment is designed with a much larger context window that in order to do that than a typical coding agent is, right? So it can look at the largest code bases. It's they put in here in the line 10 million line monolith code block, 10 million lines, no problem. We'll understand the entire thing. So they already have customers. And one of the customers said, their quote was, working with Augment in your company is like having a principal engineer on your team 24/7. It understands the entire system stack and everything in it.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's very clever. In the chat, we're talking about, wow, that's a great opportunity. When so many systems not talking to each other is such an issue. Absolutely. And when you were first talking about it, I thought you were saying the sort of lower level of that, which is just an AI that will understand all of the system's code, not to replace it, but to make it talk to each other, because that also is that use of a giant context window and being able to consume everybody's dev docs, right? And how these things would get aligned. But that's amazing. Thank you, Andy. Augment. Okay. What I have been playing around with is looking more at Runways Act 1, but also in the context of a bunch of new video things have dropped lately. So we have an upgrade of Luma Labs Dream something. Sorry. We have an update of that. It's now 1.5. There was another drop of a Chinese company's video, and it really seems like 2025 is going to be a big year for video and a big year for agents. Like, there's a part of me that wants to like change our daily AI show now with agents, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Cool. Yes,
I thought you were going to say
definitely.
it's the Daily Agent AI show.
Well, right, like the daily AI show now with AGI and agents. But
The thing that I've seen kind of a lot of, especially more on LinkedIn, and I've seen it's mostly ads for it, but there's quite a lot of them, is the AI SDRs, right? So you'd be able to call. I still think it, to me, that is an example of using AI from the lens of how you currently do business. So
right.
it's like, well, we currently use a SDRs to try to connect with prospects, sometimes warm, whatever. But now, replace SDR with AI SDR, but still kind of do the same thing, just at a higher level. I think this is where I think our group, people in the chat, people in our AI communities, this is where I think this is the value from us is, hey, we've got to remove ourselves from the perspective of looking at these things from that point of view. It still gets me. There was a Sam Altman, he was talking about AI agents and how everyone uses the example of book your travel, book restaurants. He's like, well, that's cool, but how about thinking of a senior coworker that can go off and do something and come back and do something and 10x these? That's a completely different way. Again, different level of business. So if we're talking about SDRs, instead of having them go off and cold call a bunch of people to try to get you to do business, what different thing could you do if you had an army of 10, 20, 30, 40 AI SDRs? Are you telling me you have an army of AI that has, like, let's say O1 reasoning capability, and what you're going to make them do is cold call a bunch of people? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yet that's what we're trying to fit. So again, back to the businesses that can leverage this in a new way to operate, that's the advantage
Right.
versus trying to fit these things into the current way that you're trying to do business. It makes no sense.
Right.
I want to
When we
just
go
add
back,
for those who are wondering what SDR stands for,
Oh,
sales development representative. It was obvious from the context of what Carl was saying, but just didn't click with me for
okay.
immediately. So
So
yeah,
let's
sales
make it
development representative.
let's make it even easier. The people that call you that you hang up on. How is that?
Yeah. Okay.
Or how about the
Yeah.
people that
There you
email
go.
you and you get the, I just want to bring this up to your email. I'm like, I don't want to bring anything up. I ignored you for a reason. I just want to remind you, this is my last message. I was like, it's all sequenced. So now you
right.
can quadruple X that with more emails and more outreach to my phone that can call you with AI SDR.
Well, so a couple of months ago, we, meaning Carl, did an interview with Marcus Sheridan. And that's super relevant again in this conversation, because what Marcus was talking about was you can use AI to have the customers sell themselves, right? They've come to your website, that you give them all the information now, as we've talked about in the last couple of months. You could actually, if they want to have a voice conversation to ask questions and get answers because they're on their phone, that's possible, right? If they want to, like, put whatever you're selling, because Marcus Sheridan's stuff was pools originally, and maybe still owns a pool company, I don't know. But if you want to, like, upload what your backyard looks like and what it would look like with the pool, right? Like, there's so many ways that you can create an experience for your customers that they sell themselves, so that when they're like, yeah, no, I want to talk to somebody about purchase now, it's not a cold situation. It's in fact a very, very warm situation. You may even have told them exactly how much it costs based on the various the various, like, upsells that are possible, right? You've let them do all of the self discovery without that, and you're potentially having a better sales experience for your people.
I did want to pivot that, but connect it to something that was released yesterday. And I made a joke to the bunch of AI communities, like, it was released, but I don't know if people really care. It was Microsoft's Copilot Vision. Uh,
Sorry.
I know it's fun. It's funny because, first of all, I really wanted to play this slick video, because I think this is the difference between, I enjoy the OpenAI 15 minutes. They're all crowded around. They showed the demo, and that's kind of it. Versus, like, I know a Google or Microsoft slick kind of showcase, but I think why I wanted to show it is not because, first of all, you can't use it unless you're a pro Copilot subscriber. Like, I have yet to meet a pro Copilot subscriber, and only for certain websites too. So it can only read and see certain websites. I have a high feeling it's like, and it's only on Edge. So I'm like, these are so limits that no no one ever is gonna use this thing. But I did want to showcase it because I think like they used it for a game, and I thought that's a really neat example because imagine if you had your Copilot be with you doing everything. So I just want to show that, and because I know no one has probably seen this.
Okay.
Yeah, just want. Did it pop up with the? Okay, there it is.
How's it going?
Hey, I'm just playing this new game called GeoGuessr.
What is GeoGuessr? I cannot believe you guys haven't heard of this.
Is this like a new game or?
No. Okay, let's just try it and we can use Copilot Vision. It'll teach you as we go.
Okay.
Hey, Anthony, I'm here.
Hey, Copilot, I just need some help playing GeoGuessr.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Apparently, I'm supposed to guess where this image is.
Okay, let's look closely at the architecture, vehicles, signs, and the environment. Let's focus on any languages, symbols, or distinctive features in the image.
What about the language here?
The big red characters are Chinese, and the smaller letters in English give a clue.
Yeah, where is that? Where is Pasay City?
It's located in the Philippines.
Ooh, we're gonna try to guess the Philippines.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
Great idea.
Do you know if Pasay is in the north or south part of Philippines?
It's in the northern part of the Philippines.
Great, that's good enough.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Nice teamwork.
Thanks, Copilot. I think your strategies helped out a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Oh, that wasn't phony at all.
I was like, hold on a second. One, why would you pick that game? Who plays that game? I was like, if you're gonna
Jen
do it-
apparently in the comments.
haven't you heard of it? And then I thought, like, hold on a second. Wait a second. Wouldn't you try to pick like a Microsoft game, like Halo, like an actual game that people play? Like, it doesn't make
No.
any sense. Why would you pick? And then when you look at that, you're like, this can't be real. Like, this is not going to work like that. It is. I have a feeling when you actually do play that game, it'll be like, what are these characters? I cannot recognize these characters. Where is this place? I think this is in Brazil. Like, it's going to do something dumb like that. And you're like, this is terrible. But hey, it's another slick video. But
Yeah,
I think
well, I have a question about what happened in the demo. There is the agent, not the agent, but the
Copilot.
the vision Copilot was it maneuvering the mouse at all? Was it actually navigating at all, or what? Because they compress that in time. Otherwise, that imagine that the Copilot's telling you, oh no, okay, now I need you to move the screen up to the northern part of the Philippines, right? So you got to
Warmer,
navigate
cold,
forward.
cold, warmer. Now you're getting warmer. Absolutely.
Right. So this isn't like computer use, which can, like vision is not computer use, which can actually move the mouse. Right?
No,
I think that's
No,
I
this
don't
is
think-
just vision.
No, this is just vision. They're not actually
Yeah.
trying to make
Yeah.
it agentic. This is just it can see while I think the whole point was, and Mustafa Suleiman was actually saying this in an interview. He was saying how part of it is, imagine if you had a co-pilot with you at all times, you can talk to it and it can see everything. And I think that is an awesome vision. It's just when it's executed by Microsoft, I don't think that they can execute that. Like, it's just funny when you
Copilot's a good analogy. It's like pull up.
yes, that is not
you're too close to the ground.
It's funny. My uncle used to play Flight Simulator like a lot. So I'd be very curious to see if your co-pilot would play Flight Simulator and you just sat there and you're like, hey, I'm gonna let my co-pilot play, and got me even more thinking. There's a whole genre. There's a lot of people like on Twitch kick watching people play video games. So I'd be very curious now to see down the road, will people watch agents play video games against other agents or against other
Yes.
people? That'd be very interesting what that would look like.
Yeah. So actually this is interesting because it's vision in the same way that Siri is going to be aware of what's on your screen, right? So it is actually the vision, like you're not having to take a picture and upload it. It's literally being aware of what you're looking at on your screen, right?
That's the goal. I've never
Well,
thought.
and that's interesting because that's Microsoft releasing that and not OpenAI, who announced it, right?
Yeah.
So like they're releasing it before OpenAI.
It is
OpenAI,
funny.
of course,
Yeah, it's just
on the day.
The day of the first day that O1, everything's just gonna be sucked out by O1 ChatGPT Pro, right? Like this thing, the only reason why I saw this was even I was scrolling through X and it just happened. Rowan's was doing an interview with him, and I was like, oh, okay, this must be old. But then it's like Copilot Vision. I'm like, oh, what is this? Like it was half a second. I wouldn't even seen this. I'm like, I have no clue like how many people actually watch this video. It's pretty small compared to like, but to me, this is a pretty big launch if you think about it. I would guess, but it wasn't. So I can't, and no one can test it. So
that's a general problem with AI announcements is
Yeah.
there's so many of them and so many companies making advances that it's hard to get Sam Altman's level of attention.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and if we go back to the Amazon announcement, which is not Amazon, it's is it? Maybe it is the Amazon announcement.
About
Because it's not
the
the
Nova line, you mean?
right? The Nova line is almost GPT-4 caliber, I think, is what they're saying, right? And
It's
that is
almost.
actually 2 models behind, right?
Yes.
So we're in that context. We're also looking at Jude says the new Microsoft Flight Simulator does have co-pilots, but they do not seem smart in this context. So thank you for our chat. Half the show is there's an entire other show happening in our chat. So we do recommend that if you are having fun, come join us in the YouTube comments for our live. And I think we're going to wrap it up here. And I am going to tell you that we're going live again at 1 o'clock or 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, because we had so much fun doing a quick watch party. It's not a whole other show. We're just going to watch what the drop is today. And so come back to the channel if you wanna geek out with us about what the second day of 12 days of OpenAI is going to give us. Andy, do you have something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So that wraps us up for this week. We have so many great shows for next week. So come back. We also have a newsletter. You can check us out at thedailyAIshow.com. You can sign up for the newsletter there. It comes out on Sundays. It's Brian's project, and he works so hard on it. So it's really, really great. And on that note, thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend.